You're at the party you said you'd go to. You've got a drink in your hand you don't really want, and you're standing in a little circle of people talking about traffic and the weather and how fast the year is going. You're nodding, you're smiling the smile, you're saying "so true" and "oh, I know" at all the right moments. And somewhere around the 15-minute mark, you feel it, that specific, bone-deep drain, like someone found the plug at the base of your spine and pulled it. You excuse yourself to the bathroom just to stand alone for 90 seconds and breathe. And on the drive home you think, what is wrong with me? Other people seem to run on this stuff. Why does it flatten me? So here's the flip I want to offer you tonight. Small talk doesn't drain you because you're antisocial, or broken, or bad at people. It drains you because your brain is doing an enormous amount of invisible work that everyone told you was supposed to be easy. And once you see the work, you'll stop blaming yourself for being tired. Let's kill the myth first, because it's been sitting on your chest for years. The story goes that small talk is light, effortless, the easy, shallow end of the social pool, and if it exhausts you, something must be wrong with your wiring. But that's backwards. For a certain kind of nervous system, small talk isn't the easy end of the pool. It's the part where you can't touch the bottom, and you have to tread water the entire time. This isn't a personality defect. It's a predictable process with a real, physical cause, and I'm going to walk you straight through it. Here's what's actually happening in your head while you talk about the weather. You'd think a conversation this shallow would ask almost nothing of your brain. Instead, it lights up like a switchboard. Your prefrontal cortex, the part behind your forehead that plans and monitors and manages, is running full tilt. It's tracking your facial expression, calibrating your tone, scanning for the right moment to speak, choosing safe words, monitoring how you're coming across, and quietly checking, am I doing this right? Do they like me? Was that weird? Picture a swan on a pond. On the surface, smooth and pleasant. Under the water, the feet are paddling like mad. That frantic paddling is your prefrontal cortex, and it burns real fuel, glucose and oxygen, the way a muscle does. You're not doing nothing. You're doing 100 small things at once and calling it nothing. Underneath that, your amygdala, the brain's threat detector, is on shift too. Small talk is a low-grade social evaluation, and to an ancient brain, being evaluated by the group is genuinely dangerous, because for our ancestors, being liked by the tribe was survival, and being cast out was death. So even at a friendly party, some old part of you is scanning every face for the faintest sign of disapproval, a flicker of boredom, a glance away, a pause that lasts a beat too long. That scanning keeps your nervous system in a soft, humming state of alert, not full fight or flight, but the idle of a car that never quite turns off, and idling for 2 hours still empties the tank. And here's the cruelest part, the reward that never comes. Your brain runs on dopamine, and it releases it when something genuinely meaningful happens, like a real moment of connection, being truly seen, saying something true, and having it land. Small talk, by design, never gets there. It stays on the surface, so you pay the full metabolic price of a conversation, all that paddling and scanning, and you get almost none of the dopamine payoff that would make it feel worth it. It's like eating a huge meal of nothing but air. All the effort of chewing, none of the nourishment. You leave the table somehow both stuffed and starving. That gap, high cost and low reward, that is the exact shape of the drain you feel. There's one more piece, and it's a quiet one. Deep in your brain, there's a network that switches on when you're relaxed, reflective, being your unguarded self. called the default mode network. It's the home of your inner world, your real thoughts, your daydreams, your sense of who you actually are. Genuine, meaningful conversation lets that network breathe, which is why talking with someone you trust can feel restful instead of draining. But small talk requires you to suppress it, to shove your inner world aside and perform the pleasant, generic, socially acceptable version of you. You're not being yourself. You're operating yourself from the outside like a puppet, and holding that gap open between who you are and who you're performing is its own steady, exhausting effort. So why is it so much harder for you than for the person across the room who seems to feed on it? Part of it is temperament, and this goes back to the psychologist Hans Eysenck, who proposed decades ago that introverts and extroverts have different baseline levels of brain arousal. If your nervous system already runs closer to full, a loud, stimulating room doesn't fill you up. It tips you over, and you have to spend energy managing the overload rather than enjoying it. But temperament is only half the story, and the other half was probably written in childhood. Because for a lot of us, the exhausting habit underneath small talk, the constant scanning of other people's faces, started as a survival skill. If you grew up in a home where a parent's mood could turn without warning, where you had to read the room the second you walked in to know whether you were safe, then you became an expert. You learned to monitor micro-expressions, to sense tension before anyone spoke, to adjust yourself instantly to keep the peace. That was brilliant, life-saving work for a small child. But the wiring didn't switch off when you grew up. So now you walk into a party, and that same radar spins up automatically, reading every face for danger that isn't there, working overtime to keep you safe in a room where nothing is actually wrong. The small talk isn't what drains you. The lifelong vigilance underneath it does. And here's a piece of research that might make you feel less alone in this. Matthias Mehl, a psychologist at the University of Arizona, ran a study where he had people wear a recorder that captured snippets of their conversations across several days, then measured how happy they were. What he found is striking. The happiest people had far more substantive, meaningful conversations, and far less small talk than the unhappiest people did. Deep talk was linked to well-being. Trivial small talk was not. So that hunger you feel, the sense that you're starving in the middle of a room full of talking, isn't you being difficult. It's you being human and paying attention to a real need that our small talk culture keeps ignoring. Let me show you the signs so you can name this instead of judging it. Here's the first. You leave feeling hollow, not connected. You just spent 2 hours around people, and yet you feel lonelier than when you were alone. That's the empty calories feeling, a full stomach and no nourishment, and it's the signature of connection that never went below the surface. The second sign is the exhaustion that makes no sense. You didn't lift anything, didn't run anywhere, you just stood and talked, and yet you come home wiped out, ready to collapse. That's because the paddling was invisible. All that monitoring and scanning happened under the water where no one, including you, could see it. So the tiredness feels unearned. It isn't. You earned every bit of it. The third sign is the way you come alive one-on-one. Put you in a corner with a single person and a real question, and suddenly the drain reverses. You light up. You could talk for hours. Same you, same social energy, completely different result. That's the clearest proof of all that the problem was never people. It was the surface. You don't hate connection, you're just allergic to its counterfeit. The fourth sign is the lag, the little half-second delay before you respond in shallow chat. That pause is you scripting, running lines through the monitor, checking the safe answer before you say it, instead of just letting words come. In a conversation that matters, that lag vanishes because you're speaking from your inner world instead of performing from your outer one. And the fifth sign is the dread and relief cycle. The tightness in your stomach before the event, and the enormous exhale the moment you're finally back in your car alone. If crossing a threshold to leave a social gathering feels like taking off a heavy coat, that coat was the performance, and you'd been wearing it the whole time. So what do you do about it, starting this week? Here's the first move, and it's the most powerful. Steer one piece of small talk one layer deeper. You don't have to escape small talk, you have to graduate from it. And you can do that with a single, better question. Instead of, "How was your weekend?" try, "What's been keeping you busy lately?" Or, "What are you actually excited about right now?" It's a small key that opens a much bigger door. And here's the secret. Most people are just as starved for real conversation as you are, and they're relieved when someone finally offers a way out of the weather. You go from paddling to floating the instant the talk gets real, because now your dopamine and your default mode network finally get invited in. The second move is to give yourself an exit and a recovery ritual without shame. You are allowed to step outside for 5 minutes. You are allowed to leave the party at 9 instead of 11. You are allowed to spend the next morning quiet and alone, refilling. Think of it like charging a phone. Nobody calls a phone defective for needing to plug in. Your social battery is real. Its size is not a character flaw, and honoring it is not rudeness, it's maintenance. Plan the recovery before you go, and you'll dread the going far less. The third move is to drop the monitor and let yourself be a little boring. So much of the drain is the exhausting labor of performing an impressive, agreeable, seamless version of you. So this week, in one low-stakes conversation, try an experiment. Stop managing how you're coming across. Let there be a pause. Give a plain, honest answer instead of a polished one. You'll discover that the sky doesn't fall, that people actually relax around someone who isn't performing, and that the second you stop paddling to be liked, most of the tiredness simply drains away. You were never required to be interesting. You were only ever required to be there. And the fourth move is to gently retire the childhood radar. When you feel yourself scanning the room, reading every face for danger, pause and tell yourself the truth, softly. I am safe here. I do not have to manage everyone's mood. Nothing bad happens if someone finds me a little quiet. That old vigilance protected a child who genuinely needed it, and you can thank it, and then let it rest. You are not on duty anymore. You're just at a party. So here's what I want you to walk away holding. That drain you feel is not a sign that you're antisocial or cold or somehow bad at being a person. It's the sound of a deep, sensitive, hard-working mind that was built for real connection, being asked to survive on air. You were never too much or too little. You were just starving at a table that only served surface and mistaking your hunger for a flaw. But that hunger is a gift. It's the part of you that refuses to settle for pretend closeness, that longs to actually be seen and to actually see someone else. The moment you stop forcing yourself to love the shallow end and start swimming, one real question at a time, toward the deep water you were always made for, you'll find the thing you thought drained you was never people at all. It was the distance, and you get to close it. So let me ask you this, and take a second with it before you scroll. When was the last time a conversation actually filled you up instead of emptying you? And what made it different? Tell me in the comments. I really do read them, and I promise there's someone scrolling past right now who feels exactly the way you do, and needs to know they're not the only one. If this put words to something you felt for years but couldn't name, hit that like button. It genuinely helps me reach the next quiet person hiding in the next bathroom at the next party. And subscribe, because we go a little deeper here, every single time. I'm Sage. Go find your deep water. I'll see you there.